It seems like the vast majority of films and TV shows that are being put out by Hollywood right now are absolute garbage. So when I heard about the Game of Thrones prequel, House of the Dragon, and we started seeing some of the promotional material, the interviews that were coming out surrounding it, I thought it was going to be in the exact same boat, especially when we started seeing the cast talking about internalized misogyny and patriarchy and all these things. Well, I was absolutely shocked when I tuned into this series, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed episode 1 and 2, and it's just gotten better as it's gone out, all the way till episode 5 now. And it looks like a lot of other people have too. House of the Dragon now averaging 29 million viewers per episode, and that's just in the United States. It's dominating so many other new streaming shows that are coming out, especially its direct competition, Rings of Power. But you know a good way that you could put a halt to so much of that you can stop so much of that good momentum and the goodwill that House of the Dragon is starting to garner back? Because quite honestly, in a lot of people's minds, the product they're putting out is very good. It's articles like this. House of the Dragon, Olivia Cooke's Alicent Hightower is a, quote, woman for Trump. Statements like this, articles like this, thoughts like this are a great way to turn a lot of people off to the show that so many people are enjoying right now. But let's get into it. Olivia Cooke, who's taken over as Alicent Hightower in House of the Dragon, was given specific direction on how to play her as a, quote, woman for Trump. House of the Dragon, HBO's Game of Thrones prequel, chronicling Targaryen reign under King Viserys and conflicts which lead to the Dance of Dragons, is heading to its second half of its first season. It's drawn critical acclaim, particularly for the performances of Millie Alcock and Emily Carey as Rhaenyra and Alicent, respectively. I said the same thing. I was not expecting to really like these actresses. I really like them, and I'm sad that they're leaving because I don't know if I'm going to like the actresses replacing them quite as much. And one of the reasons, I should say this right now before we even get into this, one of the reasons I've really been enjoying this is because although this was the messaging before, it'll deal with internalized misogyny and patriarchy. Every time someone in this series says something to the effect of, well, it's not fair because I'm a woman. If I were a man, I wouldn't be treated this way. Someone is right there to give them a counter narrative to that. Say, you know what? It's true. You're not a man and things might not be the same way, but also think about how fucking good you have it right now. There's other people that are fighting your wars. You're not going out. You're not going to battle. You're not going to war, Rhaenyra, or whoever they're necessarily talking to. We all have different roles to play in life. Some are positive, some are negative. But Prince says, you've got a pretty easy life right here. So that's one of the things that I do enjoy about the series is these different perspectives. This, however, is an easy way to turn people off. With the time jump in the upcoming episode, Cooke will play Alicent going forward, and she says there's elements of Trumpism in her character. Alicent is a, quote, woman for Trump. In a new interview with Entertainment Weekly, Cooke spoke about taking on the character and the direction she received from the showrunners. She's like a woman for Trump, they told the Star, she recalled. I just didn't want to give them any more real estate than they already had. So I tried to find a different route into her, but I could see what they were saying with this complete indoctrination and denial of her own autonomy and rights. I just couldn't be asked to go down that road. So she's saying she was asked to play it that way, but didn't necessarily play it that way. Now, she did say showrunners. Interestingly enough, Miguel Sapochnik, who was one of the showrunners for this season, has already left the project. Apparently, it's him who's been spouting the women for Trump narrative. Sapochnik spoke about this in comparison to an earlier interview with Empire. If you're really focused on the patriarchy's perception of women and the fact they'd rather destroy themselves than see a woman on the throne. What if Alicent is like women for Trump and Rhaenyra's like punk rock? There's a decent amount to unpack right here. Now, the entire idea that Hollywood executives would explain to a Hollywood actress that in order to play a character who they think is fine with their role as a woman in this, kind of medieval setting would be described as like a woman for Trump, a little bit of that does make sense because that's how so many of these people view women, despite the fact that 44% of the voters who voted in the last cycle voted for Trump. It's not like it's some overwhelming number of fucking women that don't like Trump or something like that. It's pretty damn close. But since this is the bubble that they're in, it's not surprising that that's how they would describe something like this. The funniest thing, and the thing I think is interesting about this whole quote that he gave here, that Miguel Sapochnik, who's no longer going to be with House of the Dragon, which I love that, what Alicent is like woman for Trump, Rhaenyra is like punk rock. This story, and I'm going to spoil a little bit of what's upcoming. The story for Dance of the Dragons is about Alicent, who schemes and connives and breaks a bunch of oaths and does all these things to make sure that Rhaenyra can't get on the throne, that her son is the one that's going to get on the throne. Well, Rhaenyra doesn't take too kindly to that, and they start a war. They start a war where so many fucking people die. So many people in their families die. The dragons die. It doesn't go well for all the other people, all the lords, all the small people of Westeros. By small people, I mean just like common folk, not just dwarves. And in the end, when Rhaenyra finally does get back that thing she wants, she's a terrible fucking ruler. People hate her. They drive her out of King's Landing and she ends up fucking dying, right? So if you think that there's some sort of empowering feminist message in this story, it's not exactly gonna go down that way. In fact, when women get in charge, things tend to get even worse in the Game of Thrones universe. So am I super surprised that they described her in this way? No, it is just a stupid fucking thing to do and an easy way to drive your audiences away, especially when you advertise something like this. We've yet to see her actually play the role as Alicent, or Emma Darcy, who's taken over for Rhaenyra Targaryen. We don't know what she's gonna be like in that role either. Only time will tell. Will it have enough of effect? Will it actually come through in the show? Will it seem like they're actually trying to do something with Trump in the show? Only time will tell. I know one thing, I guarantee there's some people that just from hearing this probably are gonna lose interest and not wanna go see this, which is a shame, because you had so many people invested and you still have so many people invested. We'll see what happens going forward with House of the Dragon. I have been doing live streams every Monday after the show airs on RK Outpost Live at about 2 p.m. Eastern. I'm probably doing the same thing for this one, and I'll see if there's any effect on this actual storyline, which in my mind they've done a very good job of, at least so far. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.